Welcome to Trading Lounge and the Bitcoin report for the 20th of August, Friday. So we'll start with Ethereum and then we'll have a look at Bitcoin. So with Ethereum here, we've been looking at this as the A wave down here, as you may know, and an A and a B and a C wave here. We've been at the 61.8% mark, so I'd actually had been looking at it with a C wave here, but we may get another little high here as well before we finish off this 5-wave sequence here, which we'll have a look at with Bitcoin instead. Now, even though that I've got this as a bearish count, and what we've been doing is we have been looking at Bitcoin as a bearish move as well. It's not to say that I'm bearish or bullish, and this is really quite important because with Bitcoin we've been here at the 50,000, and I've got bullish counts for all of this, but over the last week or two I've been talking about the bearish count because the bearish count was more important because we were approaching the 50-60% retracement level here. So I don't take sides of being bearish and bullish. I mean, in the bigger picture I am bullish because I know technology is always the winner in history, so I understand those sorts of things, but I choose to be bearish looking at this possible C wave down here because there's good reason because of this 5-wave structure here, and if it is going to turn, it's going to be at the 50,000 here, and as I've always said, it's always going to be the 50,000 is the battle line here for being bearish or bullish as support or resistance, and if we give it enough time it will tell us what's going on. Now I know that coming into this space here it's going to be emotional, there's going to be wrong decisions and there's going to be right and all the rest of it, but I think it's, you know, as I've mentioned coming up into this, is that we really need to just chill out and you know, wait and see what we get here, because it can become a bit of a guessing game within all of this. And certainly Bitcoin can also, we'll have a look at the mistakes I've made, we'll look at the bearish side, we'll look at the bullish side. There is a good case for this to push up here higher from that point, but that would give that wave 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 there, which we've also been looking at as well. But I just, you know, I'm saying this because I've been accused of being a bearish in a Bitcoin market. Not that I don't mind that so much, because it's just water off a duck's back in a way. But yeah, I just want to make it clear that I'm not bearish and I'm not bullish. I just track the evidence, and if the market is going to be bearish, then it's going to be in this space here, and my solution is just to chill out, just allow it to get here. We will make mistakes in all of this, but we won't make mistakes in the longer term of it all. So let's just go back to Ethereum here for a moment, and I'm just going to cut through to where we've been working on the hourly chart here, I think it is. So on the hourly chart here, looking at this from the top here, I think it's quite interesting because, you know, if that's the top here, then we've been counting down as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 here. And there is probably a bit of overlap there, but I'm not too worried about that. And then looking at wave 5. Now wave 5 can be on this, that's the low, or we could look at this low here for that. I mean, obviously that's the low there because, well, not because, well, it just, I think it is. But I'm not that keen on spikes as such, and we can see that move there is corrective. Sure, we could have this as an ABC wave here. That would probably be the right way to put it there, and put an A wave there on that low, and that would leave us with 3 waves here, but that doesn't count as 5 waves, does it? So that would be 3 waves. So that would be an A and a B and a C wave up to here. We're past the 61.8%. This line here is a 78.6. So yeah, it can be a little bit confusing. So I have to be a little bit philosophical about it to a point. So I've looked at it like this here, and in fact that really should go over here, even though that's a second low here. But we can get into that at the moment, in a moment. So if this is wrong here, then yeah, it's a bit of a tricky one to count at what point, you know, should we, obviously if the top's taken out here, well, we can still have a, you know, you can still have I got any over here? Yeah. So, you know, you can still have an A wave down here and have a B wave top here and then have a C wave down here. It'd still make wave 4. It'd have to be a wave 4 at that time if it made a new high at that point. But we know with Ethereum, we've got a really nice support on the 3000 here. We didn't really find it as the resistance. So that's what we were sort of hoping to find. So this 5 waves down here, yeah, slightly wrong because slight little overlap there, but all in all, I think it's sort of okay. I mean, do we look at this as the high and look at this as the A wave here, the B wave here, and the C wave here for wave 4 if we make a new high here? This is what we'll need to look at with Bitcoin as well with this. So there's still a chance for it to be bearish here based on this 5-wave structure here, but Bitcoin doesn't really have that nice 5-wave structure because with Bitcoin we were counting down as 1 and 2 and 1 and 2, and then it's taken out that top there, so it's got a change in course. So we'll probably have to bring this up here into wave 5 for this, but as I just mentioned, coming back here to the daily chart, it doesn't, you know, there's a good, you know, a count up here that can have this still has wave C of B here for this. Now that's going to take us above the level, and that's okay. But it's the Bitcoin one that is, you know, it's really all about Bitcoin because it's got, you know, it's got the most, it's the bigger market, so to speak. So, we'll look at Bitcoin now for this. So, with Bitcoin, we can look at it being bearish and bullish, as I mentioned, but at the end of the day, I can't make a decision until I see a pattern on the 50,000 here, and that pattern is the classic trading levels pattern that we always use in a bullish market, which is this one. So it'll be this first high above the level. So we'll have the arrival, the reaction, the first high above the level, the ABC pattern, and then back up there as support. So that's what we're looking for at the 50,000. At that point right here, that's when I turn bullish. Okay. Because otherwise this can come down here. We can have the first high above the level. The market can come down, not as an ABC, but down for 1, back for 2 here, and then back for 2 here. So down for 1, back for 2, down for 1, back for 2, the level, and fail from that point. So it's always been here, and I've always said that, and I'm just going to stick to that, and that's what we're going to do. Now, here also, it looks like we can, and we've been counting this like this too, as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here as well. There's a possibility that there's a top in here, and we looked at that, but that's sort of drying up a little bit at the moment. So let's go in here and have a closer look. So we'll have a look at the bullish count today as well. This is one of the bearish, this is bullish, but it's one of the bearish counts that we've been looking at, which is probably the one that's going to pan out the best with the A wave here, the B wave here, and then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. So also always in the mindset of if we found the 44,000 here as the resistance, then we would be bearish from that point. So that didn't really happen, and the other reason for that would be that from this low here to that high there, that's also the 38.2% retracement level. So that was the reason for that, but we just didn't get that as the resistance there at that point. So yeah, so it's possible to count this up here as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5, and that will take us up here, and that will give us part of that classic trading levels pattern at that point. Now, I want to continue on as I'll go through the bearish scenario, and then we can have a look at the bullish scenario as well within all of this. But this is probably the most likely scenario at this point. But like I said, until we get that classic trading levels pattern, well, basically the other way to look at it is just simply, you know, once that market becomes support, a little bit like this here. So the market comes up, I call this the arrival, the reaction, the first high above the level, the correction, and then when we get this moves up here and finds support here, then it's all about that. It's all about that point there. That's the pattern. It'll be different when we get here, of course, because this was wave 1 and 2 at this point. So we'll be, you know, and this one here is also, you know, this one's shorter than this one here. So wave 1 here, and we could just move that in the same vein. So that's wave 3 is shorter here. That means that wave 5 here is going to be shorter as well. So for this market to come into the 51,100, the 61.8% mark, that's about right. But we normally use group 1 up here for that sort of thing as well. So group 1 starts at 53,000 and then 52, and this is where the top will come in this, within these spaces here, and 51 in here somewhere. Close enough. They sort of act as sort of filters or resistant levels and bring the market back down. They create the first high above the level. So that's what we'd be looking for there. So this is probably the most likely count, okay? But for this to prove, we need to take that top out there, which is likely because we don't have a nice 5-wave structure down here. We were looking at it as waves 1s and 2s. So let's just go back over and look at what we were looking at, and then we can take that off the table. So it was a little bit squashy with wave 1 here and 2 here. That's fine. But wave 3 was really too small. And then trying to fit all this in through here was not the right move at that point. So then just to drill into this further, we were also looking at this in a bit more detail here. And this is what we were looking at last time. We were looking at this as wave 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. And we were looking at 1 and 2 here, but it's taken this top out. So we can eliminate this count here. We're not going to get that move down through here for that. So yeah, apologies about that. But at the same time, you know, just really looking to just being cautious really and protecting profits and all those sorts of things, but the market's still bullish, so that's okay. We need to look at this a little bit differently now, and that's okay too. So how do we look at this situation? If this top is taken out here, which is likely, then we need to, let's just go to the tick chart. I think, where are we, at 2 hours here? We can just go to the tick chart. I'll bring some more data in here, maybe 50. Yeah, that brings us here. So yeah, it really comes back to how this is all sort of set up here. It comes back to bringing this wave 4 in over here for this. So I just want to have a look at this from this point of view here. There's a couple of things here. So first of all, this one here, we can count that in 5 waves. It's not the best looking 5 waves, but it's possible. This one here really just turns out to be sort of 3 waves, unless you want to go 4, 5 here. But we can look at that as 5 waves, so and that's acceptable, I believe. Then we've got this low in place here. This is the tricky little bit here. So in this case here, this is all one wave here, and this is a correction here, and then we've got this move down here. So really, we've got this in 3 waves here. So really, this should be like an A wave here and a B wave. This should be, well, it's an ABC pattern here to finish off here. But yeah, so it doesn't finish like Ethereum finished in a reasonable 5 waves down. We could go 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 and finish off nicely. But this one doesn't do that. We couldn't put this one as as 1 and 2 and 3 here. We can do that, but when wave 4 here overlaps wave 1 by too much here, you know, that's why we had it as wave 1 here and 2 here and 1 here and 2 here. It was the most logical count, but taking that top out there changes that. And the move up here so far looks quite impulsive. So first of all, we could look at it, if we were looking at this as a corrective rally, we could look at it as an A wave here, a B wave here, and we've got 5 waves here, and we've got 5 waves here, and we're looking for 5 waves here of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I do want to point this out as an A wave, a B wave here, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and finished here. So I think that we could just be a little bit cautious here. This is, you can look at wave 1 here. We've also got an overlap in this as well, at this degree of structure, but is wave 4 pulling back here for that. But I think that's okay in that regard. You do get overlaps in when you go into very small degrees of structure. It happens, you know, more often, and we're looking for wave 5 up here. So just in terms of eliminating counts, so to speak, this move up here could be an ABC pattern. Once it makes a new high here, let it make a new high. Once it makes a new high here, if it goes above that, then we can call it bullish at that point, because we can look at this being an A wave, a B wave, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 here, and finishing. So moving above that would be good. So if we count it the other way, that's the low here. We could count that as wave 1 here. So probably, well, okay, wave 1 and 2 here. This is a nice strong third wave here, isn't it? And a fourth wave, and then we've got a fifth wave here. So we could either make this wave 1 in a bullish count, right? And wave 2 here. We can come back the other way and make this one here, wave 1 here, and wave 2 here for this, and then look at this as wave 1 and 2, and then 1 and 2 building to the upside. So there's a couple of ways that we can count this, but the important thing here is that if this is going to be an A wave, a B wave here, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the C wave here, that top there, once we get that little 5 waves in, anything past that, and there will be a correction because those 5 waves here will be corrected in some way or another, right? So anything above that at that point, that's going to send you bullish at that point. Okay. There will be a resistance at the 48 as well. We're in group 2 now, 65, 65. You can see the importance of group 2 or 65 anyway, and then 70, we're in 72 and then 80 here. That's all group 2. It does look like we're going to be going higher because this move through here has got overlapping wave structures between here and here for this. It could get a bit uglier. It could be that this is why I need to be, this wave C up here could be wave B here, and then wave C over here for this wave 4. So something like that could happen. But if it does, it doesn't matter because we know that we'd be still going up after that because of this here being corrective. Okay, so it's likely going back to our, I think it was our 8-hour chart here. This scenario here is probably the likely scene here. We could also turn this into a bullish count as well. Let's just have a look at that. So that would be a bullish count, which we haven't seen for a little while, is this one here, with wave 3 over here, an A wave here, a B wave here, and then a C wave here for wave 4, and then we just move up from that point. So that's all possible. And this can also be counted differently as well. It can be counted just like we had on the 8-hour chart there. So we could look at this as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to here, just to make wave 1, and then coming back for wave 2, and then moving up higher at that point. But that will all become clear once we've got that first high above the level in play. So I'll just do it very simple there. It'll be something of that, of that. And just on the 4-hour chart, yeah, so it just look like this here. So there's a couple of ways of counting this up through here. We can look at it as 1 and 2 down here, and then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and look at wave 5 to come into play here. And then that would make wave 3 at that point. And then we'd have wave 4 and then wave 5. So that classic trading levels pattern in that regard. Where's ETH? We'll just have a look at ETH bullish count as well. So just go back here. So this is Ethereum on the bullish count. So looking at this low being in place here and simply moving up into wave 5 there. So so a bit like this here. Yeah, just continuing to move up. But it's the Bitcoin one that, you know, that we have to get past. So yeah. This is just the 8-hour chart here, not the big deal. But wave 4 being here with wave 1 and 2 here, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 here, and building up for 5 here of wave 3 here. That's just its Fibbo targets, but I kind of like to consider the 4,000 more so. And then this wave 4 here, then wave 5 to the upside. But it's this one here that can be the wave C here. That can, you know, on the bearish side, that can be there. So we need to get past, past that. I don't know if I've got anything else on this or not. Oh yeah, this one. So yeah, we can look at this as bullish or bearish, but it just gives a bit more detail on the count. So as 1, 1 and 2 there. I don't need these. I need more space on the chart now. So 1 and 2 here, 1 and 2, and then 1 and 2 and 3, an A and a B and a C for wave 4 here, for 5 of 3 and 4 and 5 for third, fourth, and then going up for the 5th here. So that could be wave 3 up there or wave B. That's the one that we have to get past, you know. And we still have to take out this top here to confirm that this is going to be the case, you know. We're not, you know, it's not over until the fat lady sings. So yeah, just to sum up here a bit, with the whole market, with the whole Bitcoin market, in the bigger picture of the world and history, well then I see that, you know, the blockchain and Bitcoin going, you know, much higher. I've always said it's valued at least around 130,000 based on the CDS market, credit default swaps, and I thought that was a good way to value it. And but at the same time, you know, looking at Bitcoin here for a moment, it was always going to be about, in whichever way we looked at it, it was always going to be about the 50,000 here, because that's the balance line through the whole thing. So for this becoming support here, and once we've got the first high above the level, we can have a good look at the structure and everything. And any high above that's taken, well, then we'll be up. We'll go up to the old high at the medium level here, 65. And that will be a double top at that point. And double tops are not the end of the trend. So that means we'll be pushing up to 80 at that point. 72 is another little level in here that will be important. But 80 at that point. And then we've got major trading level 1 at that point as well, but we just need to count the structure. But if this is wave 4 here, then we would be taking out the top, and 80 would be, a sensible target at that point. But anyway, this story goes, I still don't know until I see the market vibrate here. And it could be like this here too, like it came up and, got stuck here as a bit of a correction, pushed up and dropped back, and then eventually sat there and took out that high there. It could be in different ways, or it could just sit on the level. There's a few things that it can do, but I'm pretty familiar with them all. So, I don't think we're going to have too much trouble. It will be pretty clear when it happens. I'm still going to just stay on both sides of the fence here until we get that high in place here, and then we'll work from that point. So there's a 50% chance that it can come down and a 50% chance it can go up. It will be all about that 50,000 as support or resistance. Once we've given it enough time to vibrate there for a while, it will settle on one side of this, be it on the negative side or the positive side, and then we pick up the trend and we trade in that direction. Alrighty, enjoy the weekend. Cheers.